We just heard from the two Republican frontrunners who have made their positions against gay marriage very public and very defined. Maggie Gallagher, I want to start with you. Is that a wise strategic move to take such a strong position on gay marriage during the election?
Well, I don't think that it's a strong position to say that you think marriage is the union of husband and wife and should remain so and be protected from federal courts like the one that just tried to strike down Prop 8. And I think that's the reason you see that all three of the leading candidates, Santorum, Romney, and also Gingrich, have endorsed a federal marriage amendment, signed the National Organization for Marriage's marriage pledge, and why President Obama has been trying to fudge his position on the marriage issue. He clearly understands that it's not a winning issue to be for gay marriage.
You know, I think what may be playing well in a Republican primary is going to be difficult for those candidates when they enter the general election.
Maggie Gallagher?
Well, Michael, I just think you're living in a dream world if you think it's going to hurt a candidate for the President of the United States because he's not for gay marriage. Maybe in the dream world you'd like to create in 20 or 30 years. But in the world we live now in, every single time the American people have had the chance to vote, 31 out of 31 times, not just in those funny states down south, but in deep blue states like California and Maine, when they've really had a chance to vote, they've said, yeah, we do want to express respect and concern for gay people, but we really don't think two guys in a committed relationship are a marriage, and that's not what we want law to teach our children and grandchildren. You can stand for traditional values, including marriage as the union of husband and wife for the value of every human life, and you can take your case to the broad American people on creating an America that makes us all better off.
Narrowly on this gay marriage issue, public polling is contradictory to what your party stands for, and certainly what Rick Santorum stands for.
No, that's not what, didn't the Pew poll just say that only 40% of America, this was your, you broke, only 40% support gay marriage. And I'll tell you what we found is that polls have consistently overstated support for gay marriage because Americans are becoming sensitive to how the question is worded, and they're also concerned about, they don't want to appear anti-gay. But when you go to the polling booth, it's clear that this is a very mainstream winning position in America today, whatever Michael hopes to create in America down the road.
You know, we're seeing the trend go toward more equality, more acceptance for gay and lesbian couples.
I think that's true, but I was told that the pro-life sentiment would be virtually disappearing from the public square because all the young people were pro-life in 1978. Instead, as the movement has worked to stand for values and pull other Americans together, we're now in a country where close to half of people now say, or more, say they're pro-life. So we'll see what happens in the future. But I will promise you today and in November in 2012, not being for gay marriage is not going to hurt Santorum or Romney or Gingrich.
David Mashi, do you agree?
Yeah, can I just make a couple of points? It was 45% in the last Pew poll in favor of same-sex marriage, not 40%. But still, 46% opposed. So I just wanted to clarify something.
But when you include civil unions, that drop, I'm talking about the Pew poll that she cited in the opening segment, which showed 23% for civil unions, 30-something against any recognition, and only 40% who actually support gay marriage if they're given the alternative.
Right, that was a New York Times poll from yesterday.
Yeah, it wasn't a Pew poll.
Sorry, yeah.
But
Sorry,
I also wanted to.
I don't want to blame Pew for that.
That's okay. I just wanted to mention also, I agree with Maggie when she says that polling is sometimes doesn't get this. In California, there were a whole slew of polls before Proposition 8 was approved that showed Proposition 8 being defeated, and of course it was ultimately approved, admittedly by a slim margin, but still I think it was 51 to 48 or something. So, you know, sometimes polls don't get this right, and I also agree with her about abortion. You know, in fact, if anything, the number of people who oppose abortion has actually ticked up in recent years. So we don't know what the future holds.
Not necessarily Michael here, but a number of gay marriage supporters now say that you're a bigot, like someone who opposed interracial marriage, if you continue to support the great truths of Genesis and the common sense understanding of marriage. And I think that the more people recognize what's happening out there, the greater the potential for a backlash, whether you're for gay marriage or against gay marriage, against the kind of rhetoric that suggests there's something illegitimate or hateful about believing and acting on the belief that to make a marriage you need a husband and wife. The Supreme Court is going to impose gay marriage in your state whether you like it or not if President Obama gets to appoint the next Supreme Court justices. That's what I think, and that's why I think this is going to be an issue that helps the Republicans.